Welcome to Safe Here Podcast, where we curate and hold space for our kings and queens to have difficult yet needed conversations. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of your Safe Here Podcast. We are here to have yet another safe conversation about something needed in the community. I am joined here with Miss
Lala.
And of course, in the back, we got Mr. Marquise, also Mr. Respect. What is it? Respect, Mr. Walker.
All this time you've been here with me, you still don't remember my name. Damn,
And hold on, before we get started, can they see me real good on here?
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching on the YouTube, my co-host said something about me always wearing neutral colors. So I just wanted to be shown I'm wearing black instead of a green shirt today.
It's not considered neutral.
But it's not the green. And it's not
She said it like it was such a flamboyant, different color.
I just want y'all to know that. Look, okay, so I did this thinking about my co-host this morning because I almost put on a green shirt, and I did not. So
Yeah, here look like mother.
shut up. Anyway,
With her hair already tied up in her ears and all that.
how have y'all been?
Maxine Shaw, attorney at law. That's how she look right
Reclaiming my time. Okay.
now.
How have y'all been? Let's catch up. We haven't seen you in a long time.
I know.
Don't do that.
I mean, it's life. We get busy.
Yeah, I've just been busy lifing and, being a mother and
The most
Also-
important job.
healing.
Yeah.
I've been healing a lot because I've been going through a lot of transformation. But that's about it.
So when you say you've been healing, are you healed?
I'm working on it. That's why I said healing.
So that before that, I'm healing. I'm not healed.
I'm not healed yet, but I'm healing,
You still can get these hands
Period.
if necessary.
Mr. Walker, how have you been? What's
Healing.
been new? What's been going on with you?
Had a show recently, a great show. I mean, that's about it. Oh my God, why kids are so fucking expensive. Went school shopping
Oh yeah.
for my son, who grows out of his shoes like every 3 weeks, it seemed like. So it's kind of hard to do that. And traveling to stores and stuff. We went to St. Augustine Outlet Mall. I get caught in between myself and I guess trying to get him stuff that I would want. So like trying to go in the polo store, right? And I'm looking at these shirts, collar shirts, something I would get for myself, right? But then I start thinking, this shirt costs $30. That's the sale price of this shirt.
Nah.
Which means the original price was
For him to
like
spill juice on
45
it?
Yeah.
for a child.
To spill juice on it.
Exactly. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm gonna be upset at him, but he's a child.
His
Right.
By
So
your
why would I
$30?
spend $30 on this shirt when I can get 3 nice little outfits, or 2 shirts and a pair of pants or whatever, maybe some shoes by themselves that will be worthwhile, get my money's worth instead of just spending on this one shirt just because I would get it for myself. So I've been trying to get myself out of that mindset because, especially like early on, I would get him also like Jordans and stuff like that. Of course, when he was younger, they cost a little bit less. I still would get them now, but it's just more so like it's just like $70, $80.
Were you one of those moms?
That bought like Jordans and stuff like that. Yeah, I am, and I still am, because my oldest son, he does like Jordans and stuff like that, but I try to not spend that much money on my kids because
Y'all want another shoe? Lala ain't had not one pair of shoes until she started walking. I wasn't buying socks. Socks it is. I wasn't spending money on those shoes, especially for decoration. No.
Oh, no.
it's
Isaac
expensive.
didn't get no shoes like that until he really started out, obviously.
Okay, because I be thinking, because y'all know how when the babies be fresh out the womb and then they be having the little Jordan shoes on the baby? I'm like, why?
Oh, yeah, they be having like a little outfit. They come with it, so it's like the little onesie little outfit.
Okay, that's
The socks, they come with the little
those are
socks.
socks.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when they get the baby the shoes. Like, this baby ain't walking,
Yeah,
this baby
not
ain't
my
even
baby.
crawling.
But then at the same time, they'd be like $20.
Are they?
Yeah, they'd be super cheap then.
That's $20 I can use for them to put on the onesie though. So
Yeah.
But
couple onesies.
Yeah, you know, how much I spent? Almost like 200.
You know, I just made a post on Facebook the other day. I was like, one thing about my kid's dad, he's going to get all the school supplies. Like, I never have to worry about it. Like, you talking about you just spent I was about to complain that I just had to go spend $60 to get my daughter 3 shirts for school. So.
Nah. You know, I just try to make sure I get him everything that he needs. And like you say, the thing when I thought about it after I bought this stuff, because I went to the outlets last weekend for the tax-free, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a little school shopping beforehand as well, the week before. And then I was just thinking, I was like, he's literally only going to school from over here probably 2 days out the week, because he be with his mom for the most, for 3 days out the week for the most part. I'm like, I'm not spending another goddamn time on school. But I also told her, I was like, hey, look, you really ain't even got to worry about getting too many clothes and stuff. I done bought enough damn there for the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even worry. He does need another pair of shoes. I got him 2 pairs of shoes. I was like, you know, give him another pair of shoes, you know, just in case. But don't spend too much money on like shopping, because I didn't want her to fall into the same trap that I just end up doing for myself. So I'm like, nah, you know, save your money. Like, don't do too much.
Yeah, I've been saving a lot of money because my kids are homeschooled, so I don't have to go through all of that now, you know, since they're homeschooled.
Which is nice. Mm-hmm. Yes. That is a reality. So, since you all are here, we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah, how y'all feel? Y'all
excited?
I'm like, dang, we've been here a whole year. We took a little break, but I mean, it's still.
We took a long break.
Okay, but we came back. Okay.
Trials and tribulations, we came back better than ever.
And that, I mean, I guess that stands to like learn something, right?
Yeah, that's a beautiful, I guess, experience of like success
and starting
progress.
something new.
Yeah.
You can take a break. You can come back. You can feel good about it. What do you feel like you've learned over this year of podcasting? Well, you've been podcasting longer, but just podcasting with me.
Yeah, I can tolerate my co-host.
Wow. Y'all, I'm getting attacked. Wow.
Oh, hey, I have footage of how I was getting attacked earlier. Just know.
I asked a simple question, sir.
But, no, just learning each other in this space and working with each other as far as this. Like, yeah, we're friends, but when it comes to something, when creating, you both have to be aligned and on the same page and willing to communicate when you're not.
Yeah.
So that's one part of it. Also, everything that kind of goes into it, learning on the go, honestly. You know, just building a community and working with people that's like-minded and wanting to be more involved and stuff like that. So it's still an ongoing process. I'm still learning, you know, as much as going to it. Also, my timeliness and scheduling is huge, which you have helped me with when it comes to this. Like, the scheduling, even with it, putting it in the phone where it's popping up everywhere, that's helpful.
I love it.
It
Live
is.
by it.
And not allowing ourselves also to get overwhelmed. So, you know, before we was trying to
start out the gate trying to do
the week by week shit, but it didn't just work because we both are busy people, so it didn't work with our scheduling. So, with this format, it works a lot better. Yeah. And that's how we've been able to stay consistent with it. So it won't be this long of a break till next season, next time. For real,
I feel like we're not as overwhelmed, so taking a break, we don't feel like, let's dread getting back to doing something every week. You know? Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah. That's beautiful because that way you guys still keep that fire and that passion burning for this.
Yeah. Well, Lala, what have you learned or experienced over this year with us?
For one, I have gotten to know a lot of really beautiful people being on this podcast with you guys and just having a lot of deep conversations. And like I told Marquise earlier, I feel like this podcast is going to be a very big voice for our community very soon because you guys have a lot of topics that you touch on that are healing to some and that are eye opening to others. So, you know, it's a beautiful experience, and I'm always honored to be. Excuse me, I'm always honored to be here. So.
Like you getting choked up from the day off.
I know, right? I was like, let me find a tissue. Well, I think probably one of the biggest things that we have had, as Marquise was talking about, our kind of trial and error of working together and figuring out how to be in this creative space cohesively. We've had to learn to hold each other accountable, and instead of like harboring like, well, I'm not gonna do this because every time this happens, this is what he does, so I'm gonna just do my own thing. Like, we had to get to this point of like, okay, this is what's bothering me. How can we fix it? Because if not, it was always gonna be some kind of either tension or we snapping at each other for no reason. Yeah. When it could have just been a very simple text message conversation.
And that's very mature, because you have a lot of people that do get into business with each other or get into different ventures with each other, and when it's lacking accountability or when it's lacking communication, that's where the relationship between the two can kind of take a hit. So I think that's really beautiful that you guys make that a priority to keep each other or hold each other accountable. And make sure that you guys communicate so that you guys are on the same page, which is beautiful. And that's why you guys are here 1 year later.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So I want to ask, how do you think, or where do you think you get your influence on holding other people or even yourself accountable?
Okay. So I believe that I get my holding myself and other people accountable from my grandmother, but also trial and error through my life experiences as well. Because I was one, just to be honest with you, I struggle with accountability for myself. You know, I never took accountability for stuff that I created in my life, as far as with messes and stuff like that, or if something went bad or south with relationships. I never really thought about keeping myself or holding myself accountable until my past relationship with the father of my kids. That was a very big relationship where I had to face myself, so to speak, where, you know, he was a big mirror for me. Yeah, he was a very big mirror for me. So I learned a lot of lessons from that man, and I really appreciate it. Even though the relationship did not work out, but I left that relationship with a lot of things that I saw within myself that I had to change. And so now I'm holding myself accountable now, and I'm a better communicator. But yeah, I would say that through life experience, I have learned accountability, and also through my grandmother.
Keith, what about you?
I've learned it through my father.
Okay, explain.
In the ways of don't ask something of other person that you can't offer yourself in the realm of that. So if you're looking for somebody else to do these things or provide these things, you should be able to provide them first and foremost for yourself. And if you can't, then you have to hold yourself accountable to why not, and why are you now asking this of another person. So, and that is the way how I always kind of, you know, have operated in that realm, as far as like, I can't ask something of you if I can't do that myself. And yeah, you know, and when you have to, you said, look in the mirror, it does make you have these tough and hard conversations with yourself, because it's like, all right, well, why can't I do this? And then start going to deeper, what's the root? Well, why? Why is it this, that way? You know? And that's when the real work starts to happen and needs to be done, and it takes the decision or the choice of yours to say, okay, I can do what I can to try to work on this, even though I know, look, it's not going to be something that's going to get solved in a day. This is a lifetime. It's going to take a process. Mm-hmm. But at least I know the work that I do today will help provide a better foundation for later on in my future.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's say you said you kind of learned more accountability later in life, and you learned it from, you said, your father. Now, do you feel like maybe there is a difference in, where you learn accountability and how it actually plays out in your life?
Hell yeah.
That's it. Like, what do you think? Like, okay, so maybe let me dive deeper. If you had not learned it from your father, what do you think would be the impact on your life right now?
That's a good question. I don't know. I can't imagine myself without the teachings of my father. Mm-hmm. So much of my father makes up who I am. Mm-hmm. Some good, some bad, Mm-hmm. And that's not to put blame or anything on him, because my father did the best that he could with what he knew at the time, because he didn't have an example. Mm-hmm. But without his teachings, she just broke a $1,000 glass bottle, y'all.
I did not. It is not open, actually.
But yeah, I can't imagine where I would be with his teachings. Honestly, I don't think my mom would have been able to handle me like fully full time.
What do you mean by that?
Because when they split like right when I was around, I'm gonna say like 7, 8 years old, and I made the choice to stay with my dad. And it's so weird that I made that choice, but I also knew, I don't know why, but I knew that was the right decision to make at that time, that I needed to be with my father. And of course my mom, she didn't like it necessarily. She felt like I needed to be with her. But overall, and me and her are both like, it was the better decision, because at that time, I don't know if my mom would have been able to handle me as much, because I would have rebelled against her a lot more than I ever did with my father. I'll be honest, I would have tried my mom a lot more than I ever would have done with my father. It was a stern discipline there with my father. I was scared. Not scared in the sense of like a bitch scared, but just scared enough to. I respected him enough to not try him on certain type of shit. And as far as with my mother, I mean, I want to really get into depth, deep about like my mother really wasn't there on weekends and stuff like that, and all that stuff. And she had a baby, another child, and I was pretty much watching him most of the time on the weekends. Like, so just even seeing that kind of made me look at made me see what the decision I made. Like, okay, all right, but it was also some growing that she had to do also on her own, because she still wanted to do things and live her life and all that. And respectfully, I don't blame her. Just like how I was raised by my father, the things I learned from him, and things that I've had to learn through relationships and stuff like that. And my dealings with women, like, oh, okay, you know what, this is from my father. This is some of these things I gotta unlearn. So the impact I would say that I would have not having him in my life.
So basically, what right now is like, you had your father, but then there are so many people who did not grew up with their father in the household, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then they didn't necessarily get that choice that you got. Like do I want to live primarily with my mother versus my father?
Like my father didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Right.
The majority of kids always go with their mother. That's why when you said that, I was like, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was because early on, like my father always had me. Always took me everywhere. Some things I probably shouldn't have went with him on and journeyed on him with, but I was there with him. But he took me anywhere with him. It's probably why I am the same way that I am with Isaac.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, without even knowing, I'm willing to take my son any and everywhere with me because I learned it from him.
Right.
But the thing is, my father was like that because he didn't have that example, so he didn't want to be what he was left without, which was a father in his life. And so many, that strength in itself, because so many black men unfortunately fall to the other side of that.
Right.
Where they'll leave and not be in a child's life, you know, and do exactly what, you know, was done to them beforehand. So, I don't know, man. Like I said, I would have definitely rebelled against my mom. I would have rebelled. I don't know if I would have quite been the man that I am today without my father.
So something that I see that's kind of interesting is that you kind of tiptoe around what you feel in regards to maybe your mother, right? And I feel like maybe a lot of, even in the black community, a lot of us tiptoe around how we really feel, or maybe how we feel about our upbringings with our mothers. So is that something like?
Oh, that's because my mom listens to podcasts. I ain't finna.
Oh, never mind, Mama. Don't.
No, she's great. It's all love. It's all love. Anything that I talk about on here, trust me, I talk about it either with her, discussed it with her before. So this ain't nothing.
So that's beautiful, because a lot of people do not have that ability or that opportunity to be like, hey, look, Mom, we're older now. I need to get some stuff off my chest about.
Yeah, because growing up, I was, like I said, I knew I wanted to be with my father. I had to be with my father then. But if you want me to be honest, I feel like I got a better relationship now with my mom than I do with my dad.
Yeah, but that's touching on what you said. That is true. When it comes down to the mother figure in a lot of black homes, it's always like turning the cheek. Oh yeah, you know, mom did this. No, but that's your mom.
Right.
You know,
you can't say anything because, you know, they always say you only get one.
Right. And so, just using my example, growing up, I had a very, very, very hard relationship with my mother. I mean, it was so hard. And I'm going to try to talk about this without getting emotional. But it was just crazy. And my mom's relationship with her mother wasn't like how me and her relationship is. So I don't know, like, where that comes from. But, you know, when I talk to my brothers about it, when I talk to anybody, well, you know, that's mom and that's just how she is and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but if that's anybody else, you would hold them accountable.
Yeah.
You know, if that was anybody else, you would sit them down and say, hey, you know, I don't like this, that, and the third. And so, with me being 32 years old tomorrow, it's my birthday tomorrow.
Hey, happy birthday.
Thank you. But me being 32, my relationship has gotten better with my mom. And it's through the work that I've done on myself. I have expressed a lot to my mother. Have she heard me out? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I've expressed it, and sometimes I expressed it in a way that she closed down, because my mom is just like me. If someone's coming at me and it's very aggressive, or, you know, they're screaming, yelling, whatever, I'm going to shut down. And so whatever you're trying to get across to me, I'm not going to hear it. because I'm going to be on the defensive side. But with me putting in the work on myself, I actually had to step back and like, okay, well, maybe the way that I am going about it with my words is not really getting, the point across, or not really getting what I need to get done.
Right.
So what I started doing was, the way that I parent my kids through action is what she's seeing. The mother that I wanted as a child is what I'm giving to my kids.
Right.
And so with her seeing how I am as a mother, always saying I love you, kissing my kids, just letting my kids know, look, y'all are my babies. I don't care how old y'all get, y'all gonna be my babies. Because my mom, she was very hard. She was a single mother, and unfortunately, I had to grow up older than what I wanted to, because I had to then step in and play mom while my mom was out being a provider.
Right.
And so I held a lot of resentment when it comes to that, because I really feel like I didn't have a childhood. So just through my actions, I've been able to mend the relationship with my mom, and through my healing, because I had to step back and learn that when I was a child, just like my sons, my mom was also a woman. She was going through breakups. She was going through trauma of losing her parents. She was going through all of this stuff, and also being a provider. So that kind of hindered her from being what she needed to be emotionally for me. So I, with going through healing and stuff like that, it kind of helped my relationship with her or whatever. But with me, having conversations with other people, they definitely told me, well, that's your mom, and, that's just how she is, blah, blah, blah. No, we need to make sure that we let people know, no matter what title they hold, if you are a source of trauma for me, and you hold a high title in my life, like dad, mom, sister, brother, whatever, in order for us to get to wherever we need to get to break whatever generational curses or generational trauma that needs to be broken, something needs to be said.
Right.
And also something needs to be done as far as healing and, mending the relationship. So now I can actually talk to my mom now, but it's in a different way. Instead of me saying, well, you, and just going off and, oh, blah, 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 I can actually talk to her and say, just for an example, Mom, you don't have to talk to me like that, or Mom, you don't have to do that, da, da, da. And it's received better than me just, saying, what if I said this to you? What if I did this, da, 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 da? Because I was just functioning off of hurt and resentment when I was trying to get my message out. But working on myself, because accountability always comes back to self. It always comes back to, what role am I playing in this trauma? And once you figure out what role you're playing, and you heal yourself, or you fix you, because we can only control ourselves.
Right.
Whatever we fix within ourselves always projects outward. So that's kind of how it was with me and my mom, and how it is still now. So we're still healing. It's not perfect, but it's getting more and more beautiful.
That was powerful.
It was. So I think, what was it, on Instagram, earlier we watched this reel where this guy was saying how traditionally in the Black household, the boys are trained or taught to have their mothers on these pedestals, and they're not necessarily supposed to speak anything negative about her, or even how she raised them, how she treated them growing up. Like, there's nothing you can say about your mother. But on the flip side, you can talk about your dad. However, you can talk about him like he a dog in the street, because it's like,
especially
you should be holding them both accountable.